Good day everyone, I am Simon Castillo.
And I am Andrea Manuel.
And this is The Current.
Here are the headlines for today's current news.
The Philippine daily COVID-19 cases continue to drop, and the alert levels and restrictions may also lessen. Herd immunity may be possible in the middle of the year, according to the number and data of the total distributed vaccines.
The conflict between Russia and Ukraine is still ongoing despite the many affected individuals, death tolls, and economic and global trading effects.
The prevailing war's consequence is obvious worldwide since the prime commodity, especially food and oil products, is uncontrollably increasing.
Candidates for the presidency, vice presidency, senator, and other local positions continue to lay their platforms on more than 67 million registered voters before the May 9 elections.
For this week's weather forecast, expect clouds and rain in northern Luzon areas, with the rest of the country remaining warm from the easterly winds. And not a year after being placed under Alert Level 2, a magmatic unrest now prevails over Taal volcano. On Showbiz News, Chris Aquino cleared the speculations about her health conditions to the public, and the new Batman movie starring Robert Pattinson is persistently escalating at the box office worldwide.
Since the pandemic started 2 years ago, many things have changed in a way that people live in this planet because of the virus called Novel Coronavirus 2019 or COVID-19. Until now, many individuals still suffer from it. The only way to prevent getting that virus is to follow health and safety guidelines mandated by the government and get vaccinated. Giving us more information about the current situation of the COVID-19 in the country, reporting to us live is our correspondent, Jade Ferrer.
Right, Simon. Many of the individuals got fully vaccinated and even boosted for the COVID-19. Despite much misinformation spread through social media, many people choose to get vaccinated and follow all the rules for the sake of their families.
One of the health workers in one vaccination facility was interviewed by our news team about the current situation of their vaccination. And she added that the number of vaccines decreases due to some reasons.
Sa ngayon, mas umunti kasi halos lahat ng tao vaccinated na. Tapos yung mga bata, natatakot pa rin bakunahan sila kasi yung mga magulang nila, takot pa rin sa effect ng nakakita nila sa Facebook, yung mga balibalita na nagkasakit daw yung anak nila dahil sa vaccine, mga ganun.
The health worker also added that the main reason why some individuals didn't get boosted is because currently, the City Health Department only allocated AstraZeneca vaccines.
Oo, kasi nga sa ngayon sa Antipolo, ang booster na binibigay namin sa kanila is Astra. Yung iba tatakot kasi sila kasi nga daw matapang daw ang Astra para sa kanila.
A Tiangge vendor said that she doesn't want to get boosted unless the brand of the booster dose is like the one that was injected into her before.
Ayaw. Matapang eh. Baka hindi kayanin ng katawan eh. Pero magpa-booster ako kung Sinovac. Pero pag ibang ayaw ko. Gusto ko Sinovac din.
But despite of low vaccination rate nowadays, the Philippines has already administered a total more than 139 million doses of the COVID-19 vaccination nationwide, with more than 64 million Filipinos having completed their primary or single doses and almost 70 million of them are fully vaccinated. Meanwhile, more than 11 million of them have received booster shots against the virus as of 17th of March 2022.
According to the most recent data from the National Task Force Against COVID-19, there are more than 10 million children aged 5 to 11 received their first vaccine, with almost 400,000 of it are fully vaccinated, and more than 9.7 million children aged 12 to 17 received their second dose. Following the number of people who received boosters, Secretary Vince Dizon of NFT said that there are more areas and provinces that must be de-escalated to the most lenient Alert Level 1 system in order for the Philippine economy to fully recover. Currently, the Philippines recorded more than 3.6 million total cases. Almost 54,000 of them are active cases, with more than 58,000 total deaths, and over 3,500,000 recoveries as reported by the Health Department last March 21, 2022. Jade Ferrer, The Current.
On February 24, Russia started an invasion of its neighboring country, Ukraine, with the former sending a full-scale assault to the latter's lands and causing the deaths of almost thousands of civilians. This conflict also left 1,459 wounded and possibly more civilian casualties that are yet to be recorded stemming from the extreme fighting in the last few days. As both countries now enter the 5th week of battle, here is Howie Paterno to provide us with the latest updates on what is happening between Russia and Ukraine. Howie.
The current armed conflict began when Russian troops entered Ukraine on February 21, shortly after Putin, during a televised speech, announced a special military operation in Ukraine. Russia started the fighting and triggered an ongoing escalation when it crossed Ukrainian territory. Russian forces are stalled after establishing footholds in areas north of Kyiv and Kharkiv. According to the Institute for the Study of War, while they are yet to secure a number of major cities, the invaders have a substantial troop presence between the Crimean Peninsula and parts of Donetsk and Luhansk. They've also made attempts to encircle many major cities, including Kyiv. Today, it became known about another terrible crime against humanity committed by the racist occupation forces, the shooting of 56 elderly people in the Luhansk region. In the town of Kremina on March 11, the Russian occupiers cynically and purposefully fired from a tank at home for the elderly. 56 residents who live in their old age in the house died on the spot. The survivors, 15 people, were abducted by the occupiers and taken to the occupied territory in Sbatov to the regional geriatric boarding school. It is still impossible to get to the site of the tragedy to bury the dead people. This is another act of horrific genocide, the extermination of the civilian population of Ukraine. For every such crime, for every innocent life taken, the leadership of the aggressor state must be held accountable. It is all the severity of international criminal law. Ukraine called the International Criminal Court to consider this fact in the investigation of war crimes and crimes against humanity by the Russian political and military leadership. They also asked UN member states to speed up the establishment of the Special Military Tribunal. Racist criminals must bear full responsibility for the atrocities in Ukraine. Howie Paterno, The Current.
On account of the past happenings in Russia and Ukraine, the rest of the world has been experiencing an enormous spike in local fuel and oil prices that seems affecting the basic commodities, economy, and global trading. Coming to us live in one gasoline station in Antipolo City is Rose Anselmo.
The crude oil complex continues the strong uptrend from last week as the Russia-Ukraine geopolitical crisis continues to evolve. Even though the international sanctions have largely targeted Russia's financial system, crude buyers are avoiding Russian barrels as there is growing anticipation among market players. The sanctions could be expanded to the energy sector soon. In Antipolo City, we talked to Mr. Leonardo, a tricycle driver who strongly feels the rapid price increase among petroleum products.
Siyempre, unang-una, yung mga pangunahing bilihin, medyo nahihirapan kami. Talagang yung kinikita nga namin nung hindi pa nagtataas, medyo hirap na sa pagbabudget. Lalo pa ngayon na tumaas. Talagang, kumbaga, doble sipag na nga yung ginagawa namin. Kaya lang, talagang nahahati pa yung para sa pamilya namin, tsaka yung panggasolina, siyempre.
He also added the action of the government that they need in order to increase their income for their family.
Siguro, kontrolin na kung pwede nilang kontrolin nila, no? Yung sa tax. Para naman maging maganda rin yung takbo ng pamumuhay namin. Sa ngayon, okay naman, kaya lang tiyagaan talaga.
An ordinary vendor also feels the effects of the ongoing price escalation in her mini street business.
Mahirap kasi yung mga buyer namin na nakasanayan dun sa dating presyo is nagulat lang sila, syempre kasi nagtataas nga naman. Syempre, pag nagtaas ang isang produkto, nagtataas din kami. Kasi konti na lang mapupunta sa amin kung yung pa din yung dati namin presyo na ipipigay eh.
The oil price hike is just the beginning. As oil prices increase, so as the other products and services, particularly on energy and transportation that rely heavily on oil. Prices of basic commodities such as rice and meat have been starting to increase already too, especially as most of these are transported by gas-powered vehicles from faraway farms to the market. All these are on top of currency depreciation. The recently announced oil price hike is not even the projected highest amount it could possibly post yet. Dubai crude has reached the $80 mark and the supply struggles to keep up with the demand. The price of oil is projected to rise even more.
Department of Energy data show that as of Tuesday,
2015, there has been a net increase of 20.35 per liter for gasoline, 30.65 for diesel, and 24.90 for kerosene in 2022. The rollback comes a week after oil companies implement their largest price hikes, yet amid Russia's attack on Ukraine. Global oil prices continues to be volatile. Benchmark Brent crude futures settled 8.79% higher at $106.64 a barrel on Friday, March 18, its highest percentage gauge since mid-2020. Rose Anselmo, The Current.
In just over a month, we will be electing new government officials, and the candidates continue to persuade people by going to different provinces, cities, and municipalities to please and show their platforms if they are selected in the coming elections. Ferdy Elano has our top story.
The Philippines have had 16 presidents since the Malolos Republic established the presidency on January 23, 1899. He is elected for a 6-year term by direct popular vote. They can only serve one term and are not eligible for re-election. The President has the authority over all executive departments, bureaus, and agencies. This includes its restructuring, reconfiguration, and formal appointments. Now, the country is once again anticipating the election for the next President of the Republic of the Philippines following President Rodrigo Roa Duterte's term. Last Saturday, March 19, 9 of the 10 presidential contenders met at the Sofitel in Pasay City for the first presidential debate conducted by the Commission on Election for the 2022 election. The 2.5-hour debate covered subjects such as recovering from the epidemic and dealing with the rising gasoline price in the wake of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. In contrast to the early debates in 2022 election cycle, the COMELEC debate on Saturday allowed candidates to challenge each other's response. The lone absentee was frontrunner presidential contender Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr., whose platform was left empty through the evening. After a photo of her going barefoot soon after the event went viral on Sunday night, the Vice President, the only female presidential contender, received accolades for enduring the 3-hour discussion while standing on high-heeled shoes. Some political scientists praise Labor Leo D. de Guzman for having the courage to criticize the present administration for its militaristic attitude and other flaws in its pandemic response. In the plaza of Antipolo, we interviewed some of the voters regarding their insight about the upcoming election, and here are their opinions.
Siyempre napaka-importante kasi dito mo lang maivo-voice out yung sarili mo, 'di ba? Kung sino ang karapat-dapat maging presidente.
Sa akin, na importante kasi para mabago ang ng ekonomiya natin. At saka yung peace and order.
They are also asked about their basis of choosing a candidate and what accomplished do they want to the next president of the Philippines.
Sana magkaroon tayo ng maraming trabaho dito sa atin para umunlad ang bansa natin.
Yung unang-una siyempre yung magkaroon ng trabaho lahat ng mahihirap kung sakasakali. Kasi lalo ngayon, 'di ba, nagkaroon ng pandemic, ang daming nawalan ng trabaho. Priority sana yung mga mahihirap.
Further updates on our political candidates, according to the result of the latest independent and non-commissioned Asia survey released on Thursday, March 17, former Senator Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. and Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte remained the top preferred candidates for the presidential and vice presidential position. Respectively, with a preferred share of 21%, Vice President Leni Robredo stayed in the second position. This, according to the survey, it is in line with her result from February and December of last year. With an 8.2% preferred share, Manila Mayor Francisco Isko Moreno Domogoso came in third. To end with a quote from Peggy Nonan, our political leader will know our priorities only if we tell them again and again, and if those priorities begin to show up in the polls. With those in mind, please choose wisely for the next President of the Philippines. And this is Ferdy Elano reporting in The Current. Back to you, Simon and Andrea.
On the weather news, the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical and Astronomical Services Administration announced on Wednesday, March 16, that the northeast monsoon or dry season is over, signaling the start of warmer conditions in the country. Recently, Taal volcano in Batangas reported to have a volcanic activity. Giving us more details about the latest news about our weather and the Taal volcano, here is Katrina de los Reyes.
Pag-asa advised the public to take precautionary measures to minimize his stress and optimize the daily use of water for personal and domestic consumption. Cloudy skies with dispersed rain showers are expected over the extreme northern Luzon from March 28 to March 30 due to northeasterly surface winds flow, while the easterlies will continue to prevail over the rest of the country, bringing warm and pale weather. Pag-asa is also releasing daily heat index records from March to May. While the weather will be generally dry, there could still be periods of rain, influenced mostly by easterlies and localized thunderstorms. The easterlies are warm winds coming from the Pacific Ocean. Pag-asa expect either 0 or 1 tropical cyclone per month for March, April, and May. There have been no tropical cyclones yet in 2022. PBOLS increased the status of Taal volcano to Alert Level 3 on March 26. According to them, the Taal volcano's main crater caused a short-lived phreatomagmatic burst, which was followed by a practically constant phreatomagmatic activity that produced plumes 1,500 meters high and was accompanied by volcanic earthquakes and infrasound signals. The change to Alert Level 3 signifies that there is magmatic intrusion at the main crater that may further drive subsequent eruptions. Katrina de los Reyes, the current.
So the summer season is started and everybody can go to the beach and go swimming. And please be responsible for the health and safety of everyone and always follow all the rules because we are still in the pandemic. We never know where the virus is. So be careful, folks. Now, the latest news about the world of entertainment will be brought to you live by Monique Reyes. Monique?
After a while of waiting, Kris Aquino has shared with the public positive update on her health condition, along with her family's status. Meanwhile, the new film The Batman, starring the lead actor Robert Pattinson, is now in theaters and it's currently breaking box office records since its release.
Actress-host Kris Aquino shared on Monday a positive development in relation to her autoimmune conditions, saying she and her sons have returned home. Kris had been undergoing a series of medical tests and treatments for her autoimmune diseases, notably in strict isolation due to pandemic-related risk. Over the years, Aquino has been chronicling her health journey, including symptoms such as flare-ups, as well as her drastic weight loss. Moving on international headlines, according to Barr and Associate Producer film writer, The Batman is still going strong 3 weeks into its theatrical run with a tight grip on the top spot at the box office. Robert Pattinson's debut as The Dark Knight earned an additional $36.8 million over the weekend, according to studio estimates. The film is the highest-grossing movie of 2022 and the second highest since the beginning of the pandemic, as the first place goes to Spider-Man No Way Home.
And that's it for today's entertainment news. I am Monique Reyes. Back to you, Simon and Andrea. Thank you, Monique, and to all of our 5 other correspondents for today's latest news and updates.
And for more updates to the latest news and happenings, just log on to www.thecurrent.com and please like our social media pages like Facebook, Twitter, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel that is flashing on your screen right now.
Until the next episode of Fresh Information and Updates Worldwide, I am Andrew Manuel.
And I am Simon Castillo. And this is The Current.
Audio Jungle.